calidad. Y como les tengo explicado, si tienen un procesador no tan bueno, pero tienen una tarjeta gráfica que dices, "Puta, puedo alcanzar muchos gráficos, muchos cuadros por segundo", pueden utilizar su hardware, o sea, su tarjeta gráfica. Como les menciono, esta configuración es la que da la mejor calidad y la que da menos problemas. Entonces, esto es lo que yo les...
That was banned.
Oh.
Yeah, it was banned.
Oh, yeah, Liquid took that out earlier.
Banned it.
Yeah, I was saying...
That was banned.
Oh.
Yeah, it was banned.
Oh, yeah, Liquid took that out earlier.
Banned it.
Yeah, I was saying...
That was banned.
Oh.
Yeah, it was banned.
Oh, yeah, Liquid took that out earlier.
Banned it.
Yeah, I was saying...
That was banned.
Oh.
Yeah, it was banned.
Oh, yeah, Liquid took that out earlier.
Banned it.
Yeah, I was saying... Oh, yeah, Liquid took that out earlier. Yeah, I was saying...
Yeah.
I mean, you've got SK...
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 Ya busca Oscar Guerrero.
I mean,
situation. Game 3, let's
I'm
go.
totally on board with that. I'm sure there are a lot of you.
Game 3, let's
I'm
go.
totally on board with that. I'm sure there are a lot of you.
Game 3, let's
I'm
go.
totally on board with that. I'm sure there are a lot of you.
Game 3, let's go.
Totally on board with that. I'm sure
¿Quién es usted, tío? No, busca en YouTube. Es que como...
Both panelists, they went for Virtus Pro, and we're having concerns about the laning phase.
Es que como estaba abajo y usted... Busca en YouTube.
Both panelists, they went for Virtus Pro, and we're having concerns about the laning phase.
The overall synergy between VP's drafts don't necessarily look good. Liquid is always looking for a way to provide a solution against that, and maybe strong lanes is one way. Because VP has picked some heroes that are slightly weird in this draft. The Queen of Pain has been occasionally used, but isn't seen as the best core right now. And while VP has picked some heroes that are slightly weird in this draft, the Queen of Pain has been occasionally used. Is going to eat up things like glaives in team fights.
Yeah.
VP has a lot of stun and things like that, but maybe if the PL gets to a good position, or maybe if Liquid starts a good fight with IA, Ice Blast, and Ravage, it'll just be one of those annoying heroes dead anyways, and they can play through it. So
yeah.
Lanes are obviously a huge impact. In the previous game, Liquid had a tough time in their lanes. Maybe they can turn it around for game 2.
I'm interested to see if they are capable of doing that, because really when you look at these lanings, like, we're not even going to know exactly what the lane's going to be yet. Both teams are 5-man smoked up, and they're putting aggressive vision into the opposition's jungle. So far we haven't seen GH drop his ward just yet. VP only committed a sentry ward onto that bottom lane, not even certain that actually blocked the camp. It's like right on the edge with the animation.
It'll be in for sure. I mean, they can tell right away. I think it shows a colored animation when you drop it.
It's meant to change red when you do it, and I don't see the red for us, but the stalk is inside. So we'll just say that camp is blocked. We'll see it 1 minute, double check.
Yeah. So with that camp being blocked, it just means really bad levels for Liquid. And that's a pretty bad thing considering that they have an A as well as an Earth Spirit, I feel like has been kind of suffering in terms of level acquisition lately since the boundary rune change, and A definitely wants to get some free levels by pulling. So
yep.
And at least in the off lane, as far as that's concerned, it should be a nice advantage here for VP's characters. But with mind control going to the bot lane, apparently it's not going to matter because they're going to go for an aggro try.
They're already switching it up. So the Venomancer and Ancient Apparition, always a fun combination with the Chilling Touch and then the early slow that can come from a Tumba. Difficult to walk away, and this is the downside about a Luna, right? Like her attack range is so poor, and they're already switching the lanes. They're already TPing out. The Solo, yeah, he's in a world of hurt. Rolling boulder forward, his TP, is it going to be in time? The ticks are there, and he's living at the fountain, barely.
What an escape there. I mean, Liquid was basically all set up for that. They weren't expecting to see 3 heroes top, and they saw him coming with the ward. Kuro goes to hide, and still instantly Solo knows he's in trouble. The Gale lands, and he starts his TP. Huge TP escape there by him.
Yeah, that really shows the weakness in this offlane, the fact that there is no stuns until GH can get a couple more levels. But then Liquid, they move their heroes around once more, so Talented doesn't want to be on the bottom lane by himself up against the Luna, hence he's so protected in the trees. But Miracle can have a good fun time at mid. He's going to actually level up the Phantom Rush, going in on no one with GH2. Trying to force some kind of reaction, and they get it. Solo moves to mid lane.
That's another really cool thing about them putting the PL mid that they anticipated. That was the best doppelganger, dude. 2 wasted spells. As soon as the dagger lands, as soon as Thunderstrike is cast, he can just use doppelganger. It dispels himself, no damage. So not only does PL fit well in the matchups, but in the lanes, it's definitely the right thing to grab. He can still be right-clicked, obviously, but in terms of dispelling spells, he's in a good spot. Unless they cast twice in a row while dispel's on cooldown.
On bottom lane, Roger's a little bit too deep. He has Ensnare as well as Riptide, but this won't help. Rolling boulder well off the mark from GH. As Roger ran down south, the only way to escape, but thanks to Chilling Touch slow, Naga still on the run a long way, but they don't actually have the follow-up. Roger's going to south and retreat.
This rolling boulder caused them to lose that kill. Maybe if tied at Gush, definitely a kill, but picks up level 2, grabs Anchor Smash, and now his second missed kill for Liquid, and another 30 seconds until they get Chilling Touch again. So AA is certainly having a bad time. He does have a sentry though, so if he places his sentry correctly, he can get a D ward, but just past the 2-minute mark, there's very little that Crow is going to be able to accomplish in these first 3 minutes.
Yeah. But he'll accept that. He knows the laning phase is still going to be better. Mind control up against Ramses. Like we talked about, like that range battle for the Luna. It's terrible for her, but it's great for mind control, and the Naga couldn't really do much more apart from burn a lot of life, a lot of damage onto herself. And Matama can just sit up on this top lane. Pasha can just sit invis most definitely. So we can see that 1k strike come out, but instead he's just holding the point. So he's actually no, he's put the second point up into Burrow strike. So ready to be aggressive if the impulse does come for it.
I think Matoma Man will be fine here as he picks up 2 points in Poison Sting. Just very easy for him to harass his opponent. Gank's going to be coming in mid, or at least some pressure on Miracle here.
Are they waiting for it? Miracle's going to doppelganger off at least the Thunder Strike. Won't be able to doppelganger the next part. Roger, here's your glimpse back. They have Riptide as well as a snare. Lock down Miracle. All they try to do is bait out that doppelganger. Now Miracle needs more life, but he won't have it. No one spilling first blood. On to Miracle. Support just not fast enough or effective enough from Team Liquid.
Kind of a big mistake from Miracle there. And as he used Doppelganger, they're going to try to harass no one at least.
Yep.
But he needed to either not use Doppelganger so early, or he needed to just walk away as soon as he Doppelganger. But he kind of chased after Solo to go for a right click. And as soon as the dagger landed, he was in a lot of trouble.
Now they look to go to a Solo, but Roger is back once more. The ensnare is on GH. They change the target. The rolling boulder blocked by Roger. Liquid trying to help out their mid lane with PL, but it's just escalating the issue as this has turned into a tri-lane for Virtus Pro in mid lane.
And VP's just executing it perfectly. They know what Liquid is, how they're going to react, and they're just showing up at the perfect times to punish those errors when Miracle does do things like use Doppelganger. Like, VP is just doing this lane harass so well. It's amazing that in games like this with some of the best, with probably the best players in the world, that they can still play each other.
The sacrifice is still coming on their side lanes. Luna at 11 CS. Paired with the 21-2 of Mind Control. And then up on top, Sand King. He's still getting a decent amount. 15-3 against the 19-5 of Venomancer. But obviously the fearful thing is Matamaman's levels.
Doesn't have to worry about Gale for a bit at least.
Yeah, the Gale was well on target. Rolling ball to bottom Ramses. They keep him in position to the cold feet. It should trigger. So Kura gets the kill. Roger and Solo. They have glimpse of Marble, so we'll get revenge. GH just cannot get away from the tower.
They might chase this.
And
they got glimpse.
Yeah, Mind Control knows he has to get aggressive. Yeah, she got the X smash off Roger. The cold feet tick. Kura gets the double kill.
Oh, the
attack from Solo. No, the South. Kura still doesn't have enough life to survive. Ramses will rejoin the fight as Mind Control into the trees. Burns off the Mango. Looking for a kill onto Solo. Support is there. It's going to be GH. They're both put on different targets right now. But that kick from GH. It goes through Roger as well as Solo. But it wasn't enough of a delay. Kura will pick up Solo on the sides. Now rotated as that AA. GH needs more space. Rolling Boulder is back off cooldown. And Roger, well, he needs to play the Fog of War, or else Roger's just going to body block it out. Kura trying to keep Ramses at bay, but now it turns into a fight for Kura. Now, Tidehunter return to the fight. Ramses' cold feet won't trigger, but Roger's in deep. No more man to work with. So all they got to do is keep the chase up. Killing oh, wait, no, Ramses? He turned around one charge, had the mana for the Lucem theme. Kuro thought he had a fight. He had Chilling Touch as well as the Ice Vortex ready to help out Mind Control.
He just didn't feel super confident about any of those kills. He was scared to commit to it, and man, VP again just outplaying their opponents here. Getting these little edges, but Liquid is on the board and their net worth is sitting very good. And that's mostly because Matoma Man has had a super easy game right-clicking creeps on the top lane. So while the lane rotations from the supports are not going Liquid's way, their gold on paper is good, and that just means their cores will have to transition later into pulling more weight in these fights.
And he finally hit that Gale up on top. That's why the SK TP'd all the way home. 3 points up in Sting, easy harassment. Bottom lane, however, Virtus Pro, we're going to go again. Mind Control still not 6, and VP trying to initiate as much as they can. Rolling boulder through, GH looking for the kick to create a little bit more space. Hasn't thrown it out just yet. Now it comes. Both Rams and GH and Roger caught, but Solo has the glimpse available. Mind Control, not enough life to survive as one loose beam will finish the job for Kuro. In through the side, the cold feet will kill off Roger. They turn their attention towards Solo as Rolling boulder in. The supports from Team Liquid are doing it, and Solo will die inside of his own kinetic field.
Great rotation there, but it all starts off with the Tide anchor smashing as many heroes as possible. It limits VP's damage, and finally they're not able to outplay their opponents with raw damage. So great rotations from the supports on Liquid side, and they're able to catch up, and the game is very equal right now.
Roger's moved off lane. He's headed up towards the top and will secure the bounty runes if they actually existed. The one is one on the Dire side. Luna's also coming top, so it looks like VP do not want to keep that engagement going. Understandable when you got a 13-2 CS Luna. She's got 3 kills, but this may make it 4. Matamaman needs some distance. There's one charge to get that Lucid Beam back off cooldown. Rolling ball to GH needed to get the kick a little bit earlier than that. And now he's stranded, instead up right under the attack of Virtus Pro. 2 heroes lost on the top while bottom lane Ravage burn. They're trying to kill off Solo. Kuro and Mind Control combo together to make it so.
Cooldown expensive, but absolutely worth it to get the kill, because it's so early in the game that by the time the next teamfight rotation comes up, Ravage is off cooldown. And twice now I've seen Ramses barely get kills on heroes right before their raindrop comes back up. Liquid, just little fractions of seconds where they don't get the raindrop damage block and they end up going down. So still very close moments here, whether they get the kills or not.
I think on bottom lane, yeah, they're waiting for that Fire Strike. There's no Sandstorm available for Pasha, so Ice Vortex into the cold feet. Pasha will have this click on him, and all mind control he's doing is just hit him once more, but no, the one shot to keep him alive with a Sonic Wave! No one! TP's in and cleans up the Liquid.
A solid rotation there. Ran out of damage and it looked like a great kill opportunity, but Sand King ends up staying alive with the wand. Wand is like the hero of this game so far, I'm pretty sure.
They're trying to tick down Ramses a little bit on top, but this will be a little bit easier. Roger, well, you can Riptide all you want. They're still rolling Boulder, there's still kick available, and with the Poison Sting damage, Roger can't walk away from this fight. It's just too difficult. Down to 12 HP, and the Sting will finish the job, but Tumberman claiming that one.
Gets the Bounty Rune Thief at least before he dies. Luna's just dying to Poison Sting right now randomly, must have been a ward or something.
This is what Matumba's been doing. We were kind of gossiping about this at the very beginning of the draft. It's like, yeah, Venomancer, he can go anywhere. Matumba just gets 4 points and Sting and wins the lane. The Plague Ward levels come back later, but it's just this pure lane harassment.
And even to kill him, it's so dangerous because you're going to be slowed for a long time as you retreat, but this is one way to do it.
Yep.
Big committal with the smoke from the tri-lane.
He just put the second point up into Plague Ward, so no Nova to give a large amount of damage back. He can Gale, he can Sting a little bit, and with the Plague Wards down, he will still actually have a decent amount of tick. And the kick, Luna control for the glimpse. There's always that plan B, but the silence, but Tumberman stands his ground a little bit longer. Roger has Gale and Sting on top of him. He's dying. I think he wants to be denied. Where is this? Like, is GH going to have a crack? Rolling Boulder. Roger. He uses Mirror Image, trying to dodge the damage. Rams won't be so lucky. Team Liquid get both of them on top. A big streak to end as well. 5 times.
Same thing that we saw last time when Tumberman played Venomancer. He gets killed in some of these ganks, but even without his ultimate, he just does so much damage.
Fire Strike into Epicenter mind control. He gets the Anchor Smash off 2 seconds before Ravage comes back off cooldown. It wouldn't have helped him anyway.
But networks across the board still looking very even. The cores on VP are stronger, but their supports are bottom at all the way at the very bottom.
It's a double smoke gank from both VP and Liquid, and both the smokers will run into each other. GH, Sting, Solo, and Roger taking half a second to react, but gets the kick and the cold feet. They're hoping he picked up Solo, because he's the man that's going to glimpse him back into fight. No one trapping Sonic's wave. The two of them bring him back in, and that timing.
That was just so perfectly executed. And instantly they smoke. I think that was even Envision here. Invis Rune is bottled, and they'll shift over. We'll see if Tumberman will back up in time, but he's got a Hood of Defiance now, so it's even harder for him to get killed here. And there's a lot of magic damage coming from VP's side. If they don't overkill him with something like Eclipse, I just don't see Veno dying in these little 2 or 3 man skirmishes right now.
Mind control.
Backup.
They wrap around. Ramsey as well as Pasha came in through the Radiant jungle. Mind control. Well, if he just burns his ultimate, it's going to help him. Well, not at all, because no one's coming to help him. They just accept the fact Eclipse is burned.
And Mind Control does this a lot. Just goes to his lane, pushes it out, forces these rotations, and it does give his team some time. And normally I'd say it's okay, but in that moment where they also reacted to the other potential rotation, I think this was a rare time where we needed Mind Control to sit back and just play defensive to maximize what Liquid is trying to get.
But now, it's the top tier 1 tower. That's the object of Team Liquid. No one's just been having such a great game. He's 2 levels in front of Miracle at the moment. Number 1 on the net worth.
He's got 5 kills.
Yep.
At 11 minutes. That's incredible. And he's been a part of 7 kills. Just having a really good game here. If he can transition this well into a fast Orchid, that is the death of PL. If he can start finding PL early. Because it's a long time until he finishes some item that's going to keep him alive, such as Manta Style. So the faster the Orchid that he gets, this is really dangerous for Liquid.
He's going for the defensive use to begin with. Understandable with so much silence and dot, but Pasha, Fire Strike comes in, nice kick, but the wall as well as the storm from Solo. They get caught, 10 in the ground, Miracle copying a lot more damage, Doppelganger's away. from the ensnares. Matumman right in the thick of it. The song of the siren trying to reset from Roger, but Solo is currently ticking out. He needs a denial. Both Pasha and Solo, they're both licking their wounds as they move back behind the tower. Roger cannot escape. Down the bottom, he'll try and bail out. Won't happen, but Solo ticks out underneath the tier 2 tower. Pasha was able to survive. You really feel that damage output from the Venomancer, and it's going to get worse when the Veil of Discord gets completed.
It's just working so well. Ice Blast almost catches Pasha here as Kuro's looking for that snag. He also misses no one. That would have been an amazing double kill. But either way, it's just so straightforward for Liquid to take team fights. Drop the ulti, attack each person once. The Plague Wards are nice, but they're more of a way to deliver the Poison Sting, and he just collects items. And he gets this decent early game. It's very reminiscent of the previous match he played. He got pressured more that game, but he just still does so much with the levels.
Here's your TP coming in from SK. No Blink Dagger available yet, so Pasha wants to defend, but there are a lot of friends around here. Observer Ward gives perfect vision for Team Liquid. The Rock.
It's a hard one. They see
prepared. Yeah, they pinged it.
This is one thing that you can sometimes see in darkness without having vision.
Is the Rock?
I think so, because I don't believe they should have had vision in that
Pasha
area.
hit by the Gale, rolling ball, he needs that silence out. No one, Ravage combining, clips the back line, which was Solo. The Pasha, they know he's in the trees. Burrow strikes up the hill, Matumman. Quick Plague Ward will give him the extra vision. But the death of the Queen of Pain means the Virtus Pro really don't have a fight.
By far the best hero to catch. 5 kills. The killing spree goes over to Mind Control, and now he's just super caught up. Approaching the core level farm on the enemy heroes, and as they get more and more hoods, it's even harder for VP to get these kills. They had such good rotations in the early game, and a blink is going to make a big difference here for Pasha, but they don't quite have the easy kill follow-up that you normally see out of a hero like Ancient Apparition. So it's going to require things like Queen of Pain ulti, like Luna ulti, to actually secure some of these rotations in the mid game, and it might give VP a hard time.
Wondering if Luna's actually going to be able to fight. Like, she's going to get burnt out pretty quickly once this diffuser blade is completed on Miracle, and it's coming a lot faster just because of the space he had on top while Liquid were fighting in the mid lane.
He's still got a ways to go though. He just started it essentially. Still needs another 2k gold or so. But I think the hero of the game so far has definitely been GH. He's landing some huge silences on the whole fight. I mean, it's forcing the Queen of Pain down this Yule's path, so that she does feel like she can contribute and stay alive. And landing his disables and getting levels has been giant. He's 1, 5, and 9. A couple of best, but
going after Matumman, he didn't actually get that Hood of Defiance off to start with, and then they put him inside the wall. 14 one-charges. Venomancer can survive through this and potentially even Nova. But the rest of Liquid, they don't have time to fight when the storm ends. The Eclipse reveals the dead Venomancer.
Well, that's 3 big ultimates. Just secure the kill. Pasha's in trouble. Kuro knew where he'd be, down to the shrine to heal.
And it gets away with murder.
Efficiency comes to hurt Roger in that moment. But it took so many resources just to kill the Venomancer there. It's a big kill, but if it takes 3 ultimates and they all have long cooldowns, how can you transition this?
Bottom lane, they're going to go after Mind Control. He's finished his own Hood of Defiance, so no one is on the solo. They can glimpse him back. Support's coming over in the form of Miracle, so Mind Control will sit in the tree line. He doesn't have Ravage available, but here comes GH2, VP. This took too long. They're going to actually get punished on the bottom lane. Ransom wants to help out, but they can't do so when they've lost solo. No one a defensive blink. It's on the cards to get back to the tier 2 tower, but with this kill, maybe now Liquid have the confidence to push forward. They have a full pipe on the Tidehunter and Ravage off cooldown in 5 seconds time. The team fight is most definitely theirs if they take it.
It's got a clarity as well to buff up the mana he needs. They're able to push, and it's so hard to take these fights because there's just Plague Wards completely blanketing the whole area nearby. So even approaching from side angles is so dangerous. Like outside of Naga Siren ulti into Disruptor ultimate, it's very difficult for VP to win these team fights when you have to deal with Tidehunter Ravage, Veno stuff, and even like Earth Spirit reacting with AoE silences.
There's that downside about the SK too, like, hey, I want to use a Blink Dagger, but it's just not possible. So you need those big ultimates to work. Middle lane Ice Blast is on the way. It's just Liquid trying to ensure they can get that momentum swinging back the opposite direction as they do take the tier 2 tower on bottom.
It just really discounts how good Sand King is going to be. When you have to use hoods, it looks like dead hero.
He just came out to go on a warding mission. Observer and Sentry was in his hands. But he had no idea that Liquid were there. Pasha, he just walked straight past Mind Control to Burrow Strike the wave.
He knows where they are. He knows where they're going to go next. The next closest hero was him. It's time to leave and go top. So.
Roger's also looking to creep skip. Like, he's just sitting between the towers. They are really trying to create some space for Ramses to come online. And it wouldn't be the first time we've seen a Luna behind and then just come back. We had it in the previous series.
I think there's some potential of that, but it's so hard against this much magic resistance because that is Luna's one way to just kind of blow up more heroes than she probably should. Her right clicking is strong, but Eclipse is usually the big damage dealer, and with a hood and a pipe already finished, it's gonna be hard.
There's so many Liquid coming under the cover of smoke.
Breaks. They might find her.
Yeah, Ramsey's already starting his TP. Pasha blinks the opposite direction. Burrow strikes up the hill. The silence was nice from GH, and the kick. The Ronaldo of Team Liquid. And they will look to take that tier 2 tower. No SK and no fight for Virtus Pro. They creep skip the mid.
This is the best they can do right now. They can't even clear the creep waves very easily with these. So Liquid just keeps continuing to group up as 5 and push down towers, and VPs, they can look at this, but they can't really take the fight. Split pushing is the best they can do, but they're so worried right now. Because if they do get caught, no one can split push because he can Eul's himself and then blink out, but a lot of the other heroes on his team are super vulnerable to these kinds of counter ganks. So Liquid just gets to do what they want, which is pushing towers and accelerating into items that are going to make a difference.
Yep. They'll have both Greaves as well as Pipe.
They got 2 pipes now, actually.
They actually, they're just going to like just stack them.
Yeah. The active.
Or don't stack them, just chain them.
The aura, I believe, does not stack if I'm not mistaken, but
yeah,
you can recast the barrier now as long as the first one is gone. So, and now Tide's just going to go for mech and pipe. I think this is a great idea, or mech and Greaves. It's a great idea just because they're already difficult to kill with the overwhelming magic damage from VP's side. They can just build against it, and if they can just keep their whole team alive, they should be able to easily overwhelm them in damage output. The only hero that's really kind of squishy is maybe AA, but he's queuing up a Glimmer Cape now, so as long as his positioning is good, it's going to be really hard for VP to get these hero pickoffs, which is basically what heroes like Queen of Pain, that's their strength. So it's terrible position for VP at the moment.
Yep. I'm actually wondering that if no one has to change his item build, because he is still looking to pick up that Orchid, but is it going to be too late to be effective? Do you just get Aghanim's? Do you try and slow down the push? Do you look for something else?
It's kind of hard to say, I guess. Orchid would let him get solo pickoffs, but Liquid is not going to be moving solo at many stages of the game, and Orchid is also preventable by magic damage block, so GH doesn't find him, but
he had no information to find him.
I mean, he's almost got his Blink Dagger. He'll be able to kill him next time.
But Tumber is farming an Ancient stack on the Dire side underneath the Dire ward. And he should still probably feel pretty safe. Unlike the Naga Siren, Roger has really been pushing the issue a little bit too much in mid, so trying to get out of this, but it won't happen. My Control gets the pickup, no one. Looking to jump onto Matumberman. SK's coming over too. They need that blink into Burrow Strike. Hold him there. Sonic Wave committal, but Matumberman both pipe and one charges. The Ice Blast will connect onto Pasha. No one. He's chilled.
So
and
dead.
Actually, with the Sting, he's got Poison Nova and Poison Sting. Solo wants to deny him. He's looking for the right timing, but it's so difficult when the Ice Blast is on him. GH, he'll get the kick, but getting glimpsed away is buying time for Kuro to move up with Mind Control. Solo starting his TP. You are not burning Ravage for that. Let the kill go.
The Eul Scepter looks so good, but the Shatter debuff still gets placed on him while he's in the air. And with the poison damage follow-up, there was no opportunity of solution there.
The ping's coming out for Roshan.
I mean, it's that control period. We're basically seeing a flip version of the game last game. I mean, VP's surprisingly got a lot of kills here, but does not feel like the game is within their control. But finally finding Veno when he was solo, that's a great grab. It does give VP some gold back in their advantage, and the Orchid purchase continues for Queen of Pain, so that'll just be a little easier next time.
I'm not certain they're going to be too happy all the money went into the Sand King. It's going to give him a 4-star, but they would have really loved the Luna to have that BKB. She's getting closer, and then Ramsey's becomes a little bit more of a stable element in the fights.
Yeah, he can actually jump in. I mean, if he doesn't have BKB, he's just going to get ravaged into killed.
Roger, Song of the Siren trying to stop the fun. He just walks up the river. GH is staying with him with the blink forward. Rolling boulder. Roger can't get the ensnare off. There's a quick glimpse from Solo, but it will not create enough space. At least not around Roshan. It's buying space for Pasha to pressure the top tower. Ramses, get the hell out of there. You're underneath Radiant Vision.
Here we'll go back into base at least, but very easy to kill Naga without his TP up or Blink Dagger. The top tower is very easily pressured here, but Pasha is still scared to commit, and it's not worth his time anyway, so it's time to get back and defend, but there's no Song of the Siren. There's no Epicenter for 10, there's no Scream of Yeah, Sonic Wave for 25 either, so
Yep.
hard to
So
defend.
all they can do is just push the side lanes, but they know they can fight this one because you've got the mech coming in for mind control. So Solo is just getting ripped apart by the illusions of Team Liquid, and they know they can take more. Like they count the bottom lane, Ramsey's forced into a 10-second defensive BKB. He wants to fight, but it's so damn hard. He's popped the Mask of Madness. Cannot eclipse, and Liquid are already disengaging back to the tier 3 tower. I say back to the tier 3 tower, and still their front line. Pasha scouted the Observer Ward, saw him in the back line. It's a quick blink away. He'll dodge the kick of GH.
They are unkillable right now. That Static Storm did 0 damage. There's 2 pipes and now a hood on the Phantom Lancer. They know that all of the damage is magic. That's the only way that VP gets back in the game right now. So if they just all tank up, they're just going to overwhelm their opponents, walk them down slowly.
You're almost going to catch him when the pipe's down. You've got 28 seconds before... Actually, no, Veno's still got his. Matoma's still got his up and running. So you can ensnare all you want, wait for the epicenter. Pasha's in a really good jump position. The back line, Sonic Wave goes to work. Here comes Pasha with a burrow strike forward, but all the damage is instantly repaired. Pasha can't do anything. They've lost no 1-2. There's just nothing in the tank for Virtus Pro. That's Miracle. Manages to mow down Roger. Run back to Fountain. It is the only safe place for Virtus Pro right now. They will lose 2 lanes of racks here at least. The pipe's already backed off cooldown for mind control.
I mean, they got like 2 of them right there. They'll be back at some point. And the bot Rax is being pressured. It's very likely to fall. Pasha does not have his ultimate here. Sitting on the sideline, maybe looking to do some kind of a combo, but they don't have Eclipse.
Yeah, with what?
They've got Static Storm.
Ramsey's even leaving. He's leaving the base out through the mid lane to try and push it back out. I think they just accept the fact this bottom lane of Rax is gone. Solo can glimpse and potentially get some kind of like exit kill on Team Liquid, but this is assuming the Team Liquid even want to leave.
I mean,
they're very comfortable where they are.
What Liquid realized this game is that the damage output of VP was very clearly magic damage, and they're also pretty cooldown reliant, and there's physical on Luna, but it takes like 2 or 3 items for her to reach anything resembling a Terrorblade's level of damage, so they kind of got hard committed here to this magic damage, and then Liquid just overwhelming them with farm and the right items.
Roger, look for the song combination with Solo, and now they could potentially catch out 3, but no, Mind Control is just walking out of range of it. The kick, stopping Roger, and finally the song of the siren will turn off. It's not the best combination, but it's green, it's all alive. Roger can't do anything. GH as he survives the attack, no one can even get the kill. They cannot take the game. VP realize this and calls a good game. We will be having a third matchup between Liquid and VP after Liquid just understood the lineup of Virtus Pro perfectly, itemized to counter it, and take what looks to be almost an easy victory in game 2.
Yeah, the amount of kills they had compared to how difficult that felt for VP, it just looked completely unmatched if you don't watch the game. And the itemization, the heroes, it looked pretty bad on paper, like they'd be vulnerable and gankable, and VP has all these stuns and things, but their damage output and their ability to burst heroes was so ulti reliant, it wasn't easy to do, and Liquid just, they all benefited each other's heroes. They had exactly what they needed. The roaming went a little bit rough, and VP outplayed them there, but once they got to mid-game, game was over.
Felt like the lane switching too, like it just seemed to work so well once you have like how many times during this competition, if we just sing that off lane of Radiance, like just do so much better. It can be the Omni Knight combination that I think Newbie was the one that was running that one. Then you have Matama and say,
Ahorita no lo está viendo ni mi abuelita. Vamos a ponerle like solo. Ahorita no lo está viendo ni mi abuelita. Vamos a ponerle like solo. No lo está viendo ni mi abuelita. A ver.
changes hands. The seeds of fortune. Double damage. Money changes hands. The seeds of fortune. Double damage. Money changes hands. The seeds of fortune. Double damage. Money changes hands. The seeds of fortune.
Dire's bottom tower's getting the business. Gotcha! Dire, let's do something about that bottom tower. Dire's bottom tower's getting the business. Radiant disowned the top tower. Gotcha! Dire, let's do something about that bottom tower. Dire's bottom tower's getting the business. Radiant disowned the top tower. Gotcha! Dire, let's do something about it. Dire's bottom tower.
I'll take that.
Tower's getting Radiant disowned the top tower. Gotcha! Dire, let's do something about it. Dire's bottom tower.
I'll take that.
Tower's getting Radiant disowned the top tower. Gotcha! Dire, let's do something about it. Dire's Radiant's mid towers get banged up. The Dire might want to mine their top tower. No breaking through the Dire's structures for now. Dire's top tower's getting beat down.
And struck down.
Dire's top tower, you know the drill. Dire's top tower. Dire's got one best top tower.
Unstoppable.
Radiant's Dire's ban. Radiant's ban. Dire's ban. Radiant's ban. Radiant's Dire's ban.
Me a couple of times over the last few days. But you've been behind stage when they go out and they're about to go out in a big game, you know, TLA final or whatever.
Yeah.
Does anything really matter to them? Does anything faze them in your opinion? Because I'm sort of thinking, I'm sitting here thinking, I know GH is going to be going through his mind at some point. I really want to win a major, and we've got to win this next match. And is he thinking about that now? Does it ever cross his mind, do you think?
So,
and the same with Virtus Pro, they've got history to be made here to win 2 back-to-back majors.
So I'll admit, my experience in this field is a little bit limited. A lot of it because the team that I was representing hadn't won jack shit at the time, right? Like, we're talking about VP and Liquid. They're very confident teams. They're very confident players. So I don't think they're going to have the same mentality that we had. Because I was scared.
And your team went on this crazy run. You're like, I've never been in this position before.
I don't understand I don't know how we're winning anymore.
What does that mean?
But did any of them show nerves in that perspective? You know, oh,
no,
gosh, we're about to go
honestly,
out
no. They didn't show it. I mean, obviously, everybody's going to be nervous to some degree, but and TI is just its own beast, of course. Yeah, there's some nerves to come in for sure. Especially, I think the biggest thing, if you've had like a bad game in the series or the game previous or something like that, that can kind of, you know, bother you mentally. That's something to definitely keep in mind. But I don't know if anybody really had a bad performance per se. You know, I mean, the QoP. I just feel like it's the hero. It's not the player. You can blame it on the game.
Yeah, blame it on the game. Absolutely. We're well into this draft. They've been very speedy so far, and the VIVO has got through.
Okay.
The opening. Are you surprised?
Yes. Well, they got a Terrorblade in exchange.
Yeah.
So
you get low with that.
Maybe a little bit.
That poison Nova, you just swap HP, easy peasy. You know.
Yep.
I don't know. Veno is, I mean, we'll see what else. And that can't just be it, though. They have to have something else in mind, for sure. Either that or they are ridiculously stubborn, which Dota players are generally. So
yeah, there are a number of captains who have been, I don't know if they're stubborn or not, but they refuse to think that they can't beat something.
Right. If they beat us with Veno, then we deserve to lose. If we know they're going to be picking it, you know, that's their mentality a lot of times, for sure. Like, this hero is garbage. There's no way it's good. And then the next week, they're picking it themselves every single time.
We do see the end band this time around. One of the things that we were discussing the last time around, they do like to combo that with both the Earth Spirit and with the Veno, so it would have been a really good pick this time.
And Liquid like it against the Terrorblade.
Yeah.
Able to shoot, grab one of those illusions. Also, it's another one of those classic, it's a ranged right clicker that you want to try and put some direct damage into. Well, what better hero than someone whose damage comes from distance? Plays it all into one person.
Can I make like a Hail Mary pick here?
Yeah.
Warlock?
No, although Warlock is pretty crazy. When is the last time, this isn't actually, this is a more hypothetical question. When's the last time you guys remember, maybe it's even in this tournament, I just didn't remember.
3 days ago.
Necrophos.
Oh, Necro.
When has he been picked?
We did see one in Genting, I think, from memory. But you're right.
I would love to see a Necrophos this game.
No, gross hero.
That's precisely my point.
The man wants to see an Alchemist game. I mean, does it surprise you he wants to see a Necro game?
Oh, Alchemist, actually, you reminded me. I do want to see that. That would be great.
God.
Okay, well, Oracle, this is going to be a hard Terrorblade to kill. I will say that. Gets low, false promise, swap health, easy.
Yeah, they're going to be able to protect it, though, with this Oracle pickup. You also have the magic immunity that Oracle gives you as well, just to be able to help buy time for this Terrorblade to successfully get off his ultimate. But Liquid are definitely double downing on making sure that they win these big team fights when Poison Nova and Golem are up. Very long cooldowns, but they match the Metamorphosis, so that's entirely okay.
What do you think of PL again for Liquid?
Yeah. I think it has big issues with the Terrorblade, though.
Yeah?
Can't tell you. This is the first time ever they've run an Earth Spirit and a Warlock in the same game.
You're talking about the reflection?
Yeah, exactly. I'm much more a fan of certain heroes like OT, Tinker. Tinker was banned away by VP. You know another one who's, I think is actually kind of okay that we were talking about in the break, Paul. Your choice of the unplayed heroes, which is just nice. Yeah.
Troll, I think, is also not terrible. I think Optic are kind of onto something with that pickup, though the hero is questionable. Offlane Tide, not terribly surprising. Again, versus the Terrorblade, the limitation on damage thanks to the Anchor Smash, as well as your nice AoE control. Death Prophet right back at you, gives you nice sustain against the damage over time that a lot of Liquid are employing here, and you've got a double push strat as well. And then the Oracle combos really well with the Death Prophet. You just can't kill this hero. You amplify the healing that she gets off of Spirit Siphon, and maybe the Exorcism Ghost if they come back during your False Promise.
And one thing to note is both teams have ridiculously long ultimate cooldowns. You have Warlock, Tidehunter for Liquid, and the other side, Death Prophet, Exorcism, and, well, Metamorphosis is basically the ultimate for TB. So a lot of these games come down to correct usage of those. If you can get a team to actually waste one of those, you can end up sneaking a Roche. That can end up just being a game like that. I'm personally not a huge fan of stacking those types of things on the same team, but I mean, if both teams are going to have them, then whatever. But then again, one of them is on a core here, or on a position 1 for VP, as opposed to Liquid. It's just the offlane and 1 support.
I like the Furion ban here. I think that would have been pretty adequate for Virtus Pro to be able to keep these side lanes pushed in. Their lane shove is okay when it comes to the Terrorblade Illusions pushing out. Sand King's a great farmer in that regard. Oh, Morphling instead. Yeah, Morphling TB.
I'm personally not a huge fan of...
So I'm kind of down with the OD here.
You know what's surprising is actually gotten through this whole way, even though I don't think it's going to be picked, is Elder Titan. That's crazy.
Yeah, probably won't get picked now either.
I like the Furion ban here. I think that would have been pretty. They could always run the Sand King as their offlaner instead, but you're right. Their lane shove is okay when it comes to the Terrorblade Illusions pushing out.
No, you have mega heal though. I mean, we talked about how good Oracle is with TB, but with Death Prophet as well, pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
Just Oracle, just feel ever since they changed the the turn speed improvement on top of what was the second change? Do you remember for Oracle in the latest patch? Something small, but it was in addition to the turn rate, and that just a change like that means this hero is going to be picked more often. It's good to see because he was completely forgotten about for the longest time.
I have used it in the group stages against Optic. First game, which they lost with. That was with a strange lineup as well. It was a Jug, Tiny, DK, Oracle, Check.
With Death Prophet as well, pretty disgusting. Oracle is one of those heroes that in the past just felt super underwhelming in a lot of lineups, but
there's only a few players that seem to be able to make it work, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think it's good enough now that most teams are going to definitely try it at the very least.
I seem to remember it having a run.
Change like that
means start the DPC.
Yeah, I think that was either before or after the changes to his first ability. But
yeah, I think PGL Open Bucharest and it was run by Virtus Pro back then as well.
I wonder how Brewmaster fares here for VP. Another really longer cooldown, but it's a team fight winner, and maybe it's one of those you could just throw the Venom up in the air and ignore him. Underlord, so giving yourself big sustain.
I like Underlord.
Does push the SK into the support role.
Yeah, and you've got a nice pipe picker upper here. One of the big advantages Liquid had in that last game was the fact they had double piped heroes. Really negated a lot of that magic damage.
They knew what they wanted. Oh! And what they wanted was
my lord. I was going to say, Huskar and Oracle's a thing, but I mean, technically Huskar Warlock, that's a lot of heal, and that is kind of an all-in play right there. That's ballsy.
And the OD would have actually matched up against the Underlord, but Huskar matches up against him as well. When it comes to that laning phase, you have that really big advantageous 1v1.
Hasn't been picked yet, but it has been banned once, so it didn't go on our picked and banned list. But it definitely comes off that list now. Has it swayed?
Oh God. Oh no.
Our analysts, because this is the moment of truth, boys. This is your moment to shine. And I'm hearing that production are going to try and help you both.
I know what I'm saying, actually.
Okay, all right.
You know what you're saying, so regardless of what
I know, I still want to hear what...
Okay, Shannon, go first.
You know, I'm going to go with my gut, which is very hopeful in nature. I think VP actually has a better lineup, but, but I'm going to stick with VP.
Okay, so you're going to go...
Is that the same as you?
Okay, so just let me be clear. So
I can change.
Sunsfan is going with Virtus Pro, okay? So can we get production to put these predictions up? So Sunsfan goes with Virtus Pro. There we go.
Thank you.
Capitalist. I'm just production helping. Just go along with it.
I am going Virtus Pro. I don't care the name. I'm not gonna. I know what I'm saying. Actually.
Okay, all right.
You know what you're saying. So regardless of what.
So as you can see on the screen, both of the analysts have gone for Virtus Pro. We're
Well, we
covering
can't
all
be wrong,
bases
Suns
here.
fan.
We
We
don't
can't
want
be
to
wrong.
favour one team. We don't want to curse anyone. So, ladies and gentlemen, here.
That whole panel is cursed, but we are blessed. Here for Game 3, Liquid versus Virtus Pro. Let's just get into it. I want to start this one, Kevin. We have ourselves a Husker 5th pick. A Husker 5th pick.
It's a hero that we've been talking about every time that we see an Oracle picked or a Dazzle picked. We're always like, but what about the Huskar? It's been just long enough that I think everyone's ready to see it once again.
It's on the other side, though. Oracle's on the other side.
I mean, their obvious tell was not there, right? I mean, what's the difference between an Oracle and a Warlock? Is there that much?
There's yeah,
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a couple.
Heals is all that matters, right? And a lot of damage, and a lot of damage that isn't really countered by Underlord. And so I think the Huskar can definitely work well. It's just a hero that can be controlled, and I think against Terrorblade it's also kind of scary because TB does so much physical damage, and that's generally the solution against Huskar.
It's kind of funny though too, because I was kind of making a bit of a joke about it. So Terrorblade does a lot of physical damage, but Huskar almost kind of like when he's taking magical, he wants you to almost stun to him because his Berserker's Blood's going to kick in at that point. So Miracle normally runs low anyway. So while Rams might get a safety thing, GH, we get ourselves a Thief in the Night.
And now he has to dodge for 10 seconds.
He's got 4 seconds till TP.
It's true.
Unless Roger can catch him.
Yeah, they're going straight for him. He'll just run all the way
back.
Yeah,
where do you want to hide? Actually, he's clarity up.
I guess he's in this for the long run, guys.
He's here for the courier snipe is what he's here for. It'll take some time.
He'll roll back home eventually. It'll be fine. So it's a safe lane Underlord, and that's going to be versus a Warlock Huskar. Not surprising at all. Very good dual lane, in some ways a lot better than an Oracle in the laning stage, just because he'll be able to output a lot more heal towards Huskar. And he's just going to constantly put spears on Underlord and some Shadow Word too.
Yep. Keep Patra as low as you possibly can. Then the middle lane becomes one of these contagious lanes too. But Tummerman, as we mentioned in game 2, he goes high points up in Poison Sting. There's going to be a lot of harassment into the Death Prophet. I don't even know exactly how Death Prophet's meant to engage, because if you get level 2, which you're about to on the Tummerman, GH, wide ball.
Misread it. I think no one kind of baited him there. He looked like he was going to run back to safety, then he jukes him, and as soon as you dodge the rolling boulder, you're pretty much fine. I think it is interesting that they went for Oracle on VP's side, though.
Oh, there's your Gale. GH, this time, rolling boulder in. This time he'll connect on no one. Will body block him. No one's so slow. But Tummerman with that sting, Spirit Siphon is making GH walk away. But Siphon's being burned and no one ticking down. Burning a lot of consumables already.
Yeah, gets some of quite a bit of health left. Extremely slowed, but not very damaged, surprisingly, in that trade. But I think the Oracle was grabbed as a solution, possibly, against the Venomancer damage. I mean, there's so many fights in the early mid-game where they'd get Veno low, they would secure kill or almost secure kill, and then people would just take out the poison damage. But now with Oracle, at least, they can drop Fate's Edict on whoever's taking the magic damage and just keep them alive in these crucial moments. And I think it'll make a big difference in how farmed Veno is, since he just outputs so much magic damage.
Roger's on the run from Kuro. Warlock is currently soloing up the Sand King. We'll have a little bit of extra help come in, which is the courier with items. Miracle is crushing this top lane. In fact, like the CS is just so good from both of these cores. The 9-8 on Ramses and then the 8-8 over on Miracle. They're really controlling up the lanes hard, so Tide and Underlord are getting almost nothing.
Back on the safe lane, Tidehunter's got quite a few mangoes, a lot of regen. Oracle naturally can't do very much. I mean, a fourth of his damage is blocked right off the bat from Kraken Shell, so he'll be fine in his lane, most likely.
Well, they're rolling bouldering again onto that mid lane. Gale's already being committed. It is that level 2, and using the illusion of GH, Metalman gets a little bit longer to attack into no one. Gale and Poison Sting will not kill him. Just drop him low, and then the south once more. Courier's been working overtime in the mid lane.
He Gales it, yep, saw that coming. Walked way too close to the Veno there, and that's going to be able to break the south. So now Death Prophet's heal is, he loses at least like 200 or 300 HP with that Gale.
He's burning so much money on consumables. Solo is burning a lot of life, harassing Mind Control out. Anchor Smash is back off cooldown, but Mind Control's not having any friends come to help him at all.
I mean, Liquid tried to tell us at TI that Veno is OP, but I think they're making the case again here. It's winning matchups. Oh, there's the Gale again.
Yeah, rolling boulder in. There should be first blood. No one underneath his own tower. Being brought down. Roger would have been there to help, but he was too busy moving up to the top lane to try and help out Pasha, because Miracle and Kuro have been adding so much pressure to this Underlord that VP are just being forced into this 2-1-2 kind of split.
Yeah, the Huskar pick just kind of ruined everything for VP. They thought that they had banned all of the heroes that win these 1v1 matchups kind of thing, but Apparently not. Veno is still extremely strong at trading, and playing against a Huskar is a dangerous situation for a hero like Underlord.
Underlord's actually out of consumables now. Level 2 Shadow Words continue to be burned by Kuro into Pasha, and it's not a healthy position for this Underlord to be in, but like, there's only one courier. You can't bring out more consumables. Roger looking for a fire strike into mid. As Matumban held in position, they will find this kill. TP in from Kuro. That level 2 Shadow Word looking for a target. Cuts through the tree line to put it onto Roger, but with Spirit Siphon from no one. Rolling boulder. GH will come in for the double kick. He'll get a revenge kill onto the SK. Not quite certain that courier wants to be there. Is waiting for the Venomancer to arrive as GH only can't really help out. This is just Solo going to walk away from him.
He could just teleport, but I don't think he feels threatened at all. Nobody else is going to fall in this far, so they're just going to fight for bounties. That's it.
They're bringing friends. Roger's coming in, rolling boulder in from GH. He'll steal the bounty room, but Roger looking for the revenge. He's only got a level 1 Burrow Strike. He has to be slowed down with Rams moving off the bottom lane. They'll pick up the Earth Spirit, a kick away. GH, all he does is waste time before his own death.
Really good rotation there from VP to read exactly what he was going to try to do, and with Terrorblade shifting over, super solid kill. Very even game. More kills for VP side, kind of reminiscent of the previous match, but in the meantime, Liquid always has that one hero top in last hits.
That's a double damage for no one with Spirit Siphon, Shadow Word, Restoration on Kuro, the miss! It's going to be there. Matumban wants to fight, but it won't happen, as he did miss the Gale onto no one.
A little different skill build than last game too, kind of interesting that he's changing it up.
The 3-2 as opposed to the 2-3.
Kind of surprised he's not going the same pathway, but maybe he wants a lower cooldown on Gale. Ability to break the raindrops a little earlier, perhaps?
Potentially.
It would break raindrops at 3 points. Maybe that's why. But Roger's still sitting around looking like he wants to help, but I don't think he feels very confident right now. They've had so much trouble training against the Veno so far.
They've rotated their lanes once more. Miracle comes down to bottom lane. Mind Control is going to TP up to the top, so Pasha just cannot catch a break at all. And with Kuro on this top lane, Mind Control, Shadow Words, we'll be able to easily sustain.
I mean, on VP's advantage, I think Solo had that great rotation mid gave him so much advantage, actually. He's 1-0-4, and he's level 4 at 6 minutes. That's a huge level advantage for the support that normally has to kind of struggle to get some levels. But on top of that, now he gets to start a pull. This is one of the best ways for supports to accelerate and build fast level 6, and once he gets that, all these ganks are going to be a lot harder.
GH trying to play around with Roger. Or vice versa. GH is back under his shrine. Roger will only want to harass, that's all. GH actually TPing to the top lane. No stun.
That was really close, actually. Fraction more, you could have interrupted.
They don't have any aggressive vision. In fact, just one very defensive ward got planted down. I think they actually saw it too. Kuro has a sentry ward.
Good creep positioning here on the VP side. They're looking to dive on Veno again. No boots for him, so if they do catch him, he could be out of trouble. Or in a lot of trouble, that is.
It's when Matumba's really wanting that level 6. Just having that 1 point up in Plague Ward. He doesn't need to have the Nova. Not as required for him, but he's got GH to help him out. So gank all you want, Roger. During nighttime, he cannot see the ES sitting behind the tower.
He does grab the Nova. Just wants as much damage as he can get right now. That's a good way to do it. Trying to pressure the VP safe lane though. Mind Control can kind of do whatever he wants with the backup power of Shadow Word, but for himself takes the damage, he hurts a lot more. Miracle kind of playing this ready to dive Huskar right now. He's got 4 points in Burning Spears. He's got Armlet ready as well. So if he can get on top of Pasha, it's a decent chance of getting the kill, but we'll just see a TP most likely.
I love the no boots.
Yeah.
Like I have life break to give distance, right?
That's true. The mini blink dagger, right?
And it's still 3-4 movement speed versus the 295, and he may want it as he has to outrun Roger. TP support is coming in right now. It's Kuro. Miracle will need to put that Shadow Word on top of him, and the Fatal Bonds. Potential turn to fight. Huskar, caught inside the pit. How much can you toggle? Not enough through this. Not when no one brings in such huge physical damage. But a Gale and Nova, VP, they get coated, but really, they're still surviving. The Fatal Bonds is making this very difficult to live, as all three of them, Pasha, Roger, and no one having their fates connected. And will wear off now, so they're going to survive. But if that Huskar was a little bit stronger,
Man, Fatal Bonds and Venom, that's pretty terrifying in the mid game. Kuro was holding his skill points, but that was the right time to pick that up. Doesn't get any kills, but it kind of just shows the story of what's to come in these next couple fights.
Yep.
They land big Venom ultis, Gales, and right clicks, and they Fatal Bonds them all together. Everyone's dying on VP's side. But Oracle can save one. Who will he choose?
More than likely Ramses, unless Ramses can save himself. But no one brings that huge physical damage, and this is when the Huskar pickup doesn't look as great. Laning phase, sure, but that physical DPS of Virtus Pro is still very, very strong. Like, how much are you willing to sacrifice in order to get a great team fight off? Kuro needs his level 6 to get that to happen. You talked about Oracle being a full level now in front of him. The Warlock Rock and the Tidehunter Ravage is normally the biggest deterrent to stop Virtus Pro from fighting.
I think it'll be okay even if Warlock is delayed on 6, but VP's rotations here are set up to beat Mind Control. They gotta save the stun though, or he can TP.
Is this the same thing again? Like Mind Control into the trees?
This one's gonna be harder. If he can juke and TP.
Kraken Shell, sure. You just break free of everything you want to. There's so many heroes, like there's 3 heroes chasing him into the tree lines. Roger does use the Burrow Strike, gets the kill.
Really wise play there, perfect. They stun too early, he gets out, no way for them to stop him. I mean, that's their only stun. I think it's just Sand King. Except for the potential Yules, you know, no one dodges a Gale in the mid lane here. Making Matomu Man look stupid.
Miracle's forcing out the bottom tower. DP support's coming in the form of the Oracle. Shadow Word's on Miracle, so he's getting a little bit more life. The Firestorm actually burning a lot, even though he's only got 2 points up in the Berserker's Blood.
Is actually huge this game. He just dispelled the Shadow Word from Warlock, and it's also going to work against the later Inner Vitality that Huskar is going to want to rely on. So could see some big impact from Warlock here.
GH, not only does he steal the Founding Room from Pasha, he steals the Arcane from No One. No One looking to do something about it, but GH once again TP's out and goes to the top lane.
Trying after Mind Control finishes his wave, and then everything's fine anyways.
Yep. But his movement does get scattered out. So Virtus Pro, they were dewatered before in the top lane. Yeah, solo. Well, he could actually heal himself up and survive. Miracle has to toggle from the tower.
Gonna be just fine with these 2 heals.
Fine. Relax, everybody.
Definitely hard to kill Oracle, but burning his ultimate at this stage is really beneficial. Not that VP necessarily has somebody they want to put it on. Obviously, it's wonderful with Death Prophet as a combo, but Miracle definitely wants to kill the tower, but not enough physical damage for now. A little hard for him to force these tower pushes, and as long as VP keeps defending them by killing the creep wave, then a delayed tower will be more time that Terrorblade can get online and finally become competitive with a Huskar.
Drums just arrived on Ramses. He'll need an extra helping hand if he wants to do something about Mind Control. Without Metamorphosis going into Anchor Smash, probably not the greatest thing either. Roger, don't get your courier killed. Actually took damage because the creeps were aggroed.
They were angry, but they didn't know what to attack. Roger was hiding. Scan goes down by the dire side. They're spotting Miracle trying to wrap around. That was kind of how VP lost a lot of tempo last game when Liquid ended up rotating and diving under the tier 1. So
yeah, what they don't know about it is GH, however. The Gale's going to connect. Noah wants to try and fight this one with the Spirit Scythe. He's got a lot of sustain. GH has to rolling boulder away. Exorcism burned by No One. And they will not be able to force down the tower at all.
It looked like a potential kill, but as soon as he pops ulti, Liquid knows to escape. They didn't overburn anything skill-wise, and they get a big advantage from this. That was huge plays, actually, from Liquid to disengage there. I wonder how much they make these plays off of previous game performances.
Mind Control's in trouble. He doesn't have a lot of mana to work with. 11-1 charges can give him some life in that mana, but he'll need more support. Kuro is here. There goes your Ravage, rolling ball. The Fatal Bonds together with the rock. The damage is going to be huge. Ramses switches a lot of it out. He thunders GH, allowing him to have enough damage to kill off Mind Control. They're still connected, remember, into the trees. Roger, Invis, and actually with the Sandstorm, they already found the kill over on GH. Roger will burn. Solo's not in a healthy position either. That Golem moving underneath the tower allows him to continue to fight. Ramses knows he has to keep retreating.
Miracle wants to keep fighting, but they'll hit the tower at least. I mean, Golem gives them a little bit of overwhelm power here.
Is he going to life break Ramses? He's got the jump. He knows Ramses no longer has Sunder, so you already start to stack up the burning spears. Jumping in further forward. Miracle. Oh, there's your reflection. There's a little bit of extra help. Miracle can toggle as well as have the one charges. Turns everyone solo. Courier's in the neighborhood as well, but it will back off, realizing that they're all dead on top lane.
He played that so well. Getting a bunch of attacks in a last moment, drops the life break to close the gap distance here. But Roger will be able to do the old sandstorm and stand, but the tower's dying pretty fast.
Yep, no way to really stop it. Miracle could just tank through it all. And Roger's 1K strat won't work. Miracle's getting a lot stronger, moving into a Heaven's Halberd. You want to talk about a way to stop that physical damage of Terrorblade, find the real one and disarm.
He's going a slightly different Huskar build. Buying treads first is kind of interesting, but overall attack speed and meaning more spears against your opponent is really what the goal is here. If the more spears he drops on the Terrorblade, the better chance he can actually kill him in these clutch fights.
Well, someone's got to bring some dust into this fight.
He's going to steal all of his last hits and now walk away. Kind of an interesting game.
The Dobermans kept the pressure up on mid lane while all this has been going on. Really just focusing on finishing up that Veil of Discord, amplifying all this damage, which they want to start stacking up. Stack this up once you have Rock down, once you have Fatal Bonds available, Rolling Boulder, GH. Oh, he'll complete the TP. Then you can turn your attention towards middle lane. Miracle is ready to come from behind.
Not really the hero they wanted to kill, so they don't commit anything to it just yet. And the creep wave is killed though. So now it's going to be up to VP to try to slow down the push.
They have no Ravage, but they saw Pasha. That Plague was just able to connect onto him, and Pasha.
God.
He was about to put the pit down, but...
Doesn't matter.
Yep.
It's just so much damage right here. This is Huskar's prime territory. As long as he's backed up by his allies, as long as he doesn't get killed solo, Miracle is going to snowball this to a huge advantage.
With Armlet on, he has 2.2k. Like
Pretty good.
That's so much to get through.
He hits really hard, attacks fast. Evasion's coming up in one last hit, and there he's got it.
And then moving into Roshan. This is something which Team Liquid must have. This is the enabler for the Huskar.
Another thing that's very simple for him to kill, Medallion as well, and that's going to be a pretty quick dead road. And with the Halberd finished, another solution against Terrorblade. It's going to be a long time till he gets magic immunity.
Yep. Virtus Pro smoked up. They won't be able to do anything really about this. They are way too late to join the fight. So Huskar just TPs down a bottom lane. No one reveals himself for a moment. Huskar actually moving up inside the fog of war. No one is not aware that Miracle is there, but has the movement speed with phase boots, can easily outrun that Huskar.
There's no threat either way. Even if he gets a life break off, Yule's the Huskar, start a TP and you get out.
Yep. Would have required Kuro to drop the ultimate to stop him. But he was taking time to get there too.
Might be able to even Yule's before he connects with the life break and then get out of there. GH is constantly going to the off lanes, trying to slow down these pushes. Definitely safer for him than any of their cores. Less value lost if he dies, so they're going to glyph, slow this down a little bit.
Roger finding that perfect time to reveal it. The kick is good from GH. No! Rolling boulder, TP out the star! The damage, purifying flames from Solo. Stops a beautiful play, but still it's Virtus Pro. A tier 1 for tier 1 tower trade-off will now happen.
And he's already alive again. It doesn't have a TP though, but Liquid does get the tier 1, now pressuring tier 2. And this is very reminiscent of the previous game. Can VP catch up? Or Terrorblade's got a great KDA, 3-1 and 12. His net worth is solid, but it's not over here the Huskar.
Do they just go up? Like you're 16 minutes in, you have Ravage, you have Rock, you have Nova, you have kind of everything you want, even a double damage on Matumba. Yeah, they're going in. Look at Miracle. He wants to kill. He walks past the tower, body blocking out Virtus Pro.
He doesn't even want them close to him.
No.
The fast solar crest on Tidehunter as well.
He just burst side, they're going to pin him up. Have they got the extra help? Roger Forest strikes forward. The stun won't connect. The Rock as well as Fatal Bonds. VP, they're connected once more. The Aegis model has done its work. Miracle back to the world of the living. Looking for a good target, but they don't really have one. They want more distance. Miracle rooted up, forced in. He goes after Ramsey, dropping him down low. The Ravage finally from Mind Control comes out. Same with the Nova. All of VP are coded up, but no one from Liquid is really left alive to do anything about it. No one will have a double kill. Matumba, he just needs to get out of this one. Roger's so low, he should actually die. No, he won't. It's Poison Nova and Poison Sting. He's going to tick right now, 7 HP, and he survives through it. Virtus Pro lose nobody.
Amazing defense from them. I mean, it looked so good for Liquid going high ground there with the evasion, but they lowered Miracle's HP. He was maybe a bit too deep with his diving. And I think the crucial play was the silence from no one to delay the Ravage. Ravage fell late, and it was, but it was all about delaying Mind Control's ability to save the Huskar. And by delaying that, it allowed them to win the fight.
Yeah, they really needed that sooner. Needed that Blink Dagger to really be on the Tidehunter. He went for a full Solar Crest before getting the Blink.
And it's a cool, really cool build if that push works out. And it was very close to working out. Once that tower falls, maybe they can get a solo kill somewhere. They knew Exorcism was on cooldown for a bit because previously no one had used it on the bot lane. So that was a great timing for Liquid to try to hit. But now they're going to have to pay the sins of buying these early pushing items with the Solar Crest on Tide.
No one sitting here in the mid lane. GH has an Invis rune. They should know that no one is basically by himself until he walks underneath the one sentry ward that just timed out. It had only 2 seconds left on it, and GH walked over the top of it in the last 2 seconds. But they're coming again. That bottom tier 3 tower is so low. You don't have the Aegis Immortal this time around.
And very wisely, Roger again setting himself into position to cut the creep wave. They just want to delay this as long as possible, or at the least, if it goes slow, it's going to allow VP the ability to take the enemy tier 1 if this gets delayed. And right now there's only 4 heroes. Veno wants to shift over, he drops some wards, they're level 3, so they should be able to deal with some of the creep wave. And they're going for the high ground again.
Yeah, they're doing this jump. No Ravage available. The root is on the Huskar, trying to break him free. Again, this Fortune's End.
So good this game.
It keeps turning off the Shadow Word. It keeps turning off even like that's why they're not trying to stack it anymore on Miracle with the Inner Vitality and Shadow Word.
And the Solar Crest. The Solar Crest active, all of these little buffs that are going on Huskar, it's actually making his life really hard. I'm sure it's one of the reasons he's died so fast in the last couple engagements. You remove that heal, he's just a hero with an armlet, and that's a regular hero. He doesn't have lifesteal, so he's kind of all in on those regen things, and Liquid's going to be forced to play a slower game as a result of solo playing like this.
VP just came out to D-Ward. The Liquid know where the vision advantage is. Hence, rotate to mid, take out the tier 2 towers. That's what you normally do with the first Aegis of the Immortal, even though it is gone. They're restricting VP into their base. That's all they can do for now. Ramses continues to get big as well. Looking to get into the BKB, so he's ready to fight. In fact, now he has that exactly. And Huskar's a little bit off his. He'll get the farm off the top lane. So BKB for Miracle next engagement. #1 net worth are on the field. So got a great combination out from Liquid, but that high ground defense from VP looks so stable. Now their core can stand under the cover of a Magic Immune.
Yeah, and once both of them are at that position, Death Prophet now turns from somebody that's a vulnerability to somebody that can be absolutely a big damage dealer. She goes for max health Spirit Siphon, very good against Huskar, very good against Tidehunter. Until it gets dispelled at least, and she can just pop BKB and run in there and deal damage. There is still a decent amount of physical damage coming out of Liquid, especially from the Huskar, and once he finishes AC, it's even more so, but I think he'll be able to jump into the team fight and get a lot more done. I mean, maybe another big worry is still going to be Fatal Bonds, but BKBs are going to stop the magic damage dealt to at least 2 of their cores, which means that once it actually trickles over, it won't spread quite as heavily.
Yep.
So this is a good place for VP to be. They've got a gold event.
Oh, there's your root already on the Miracle. Fire Strike as well. He can't actually toggle out of this. GH has a rolling boulder himself away. Fortune's End will connect. So the rest of Liquid won out. Warlock won't be so lucky. The TP cancelled on Kuro. Accepts his fate, and 2 heroes from Liquid without buyback. All they try to do is take that tier 2 tower on top. And again, they end up losing.
Just a little overconfidence from Liquid, feeling like they're riding the Huskar train, and they are, but this is like a typical KDA for a Huskar that's on the way to losing. 4-3-0. He's gotten some kills, but in these crucial moments where the team needs to group around him and do these pushes, they were a little outmaneuvered, and they didn't anticipate him dying so fast.
Just that vision advantage needs to be taken away from Liquid every time too. Like the 2 observables they planted on bottom, they got taken out by Virtus Pro in the same position as well. So how does Liquid continue to set up for these fights? You push the tier 2 tower, but the aggressive warding you never got down. That's what's on Kuro. He's got 2 obs and 2 sentries currently in the inventory. But he has nowhere to plan it.
That's part of the hard part, is that he has to sit behind Huskar to help make sure that he doesn't go down. But they can't necessarily just be confident around the heals and the Inner Vitality. Like, all it took was 1 stun there. Miracle's HP was very low, so maybe stay above 40% HP or whatever it was. But it's a tough position to be in. And to try to prevent VP from being able to walk around and D-ward and gank all they want, it would require Liquid on the other side of the map to actually make those kills themselves. But they don't really have the best heroes for it. It's basically Earth Spirit, or they'd have to commit Tidehunter to a Ravage, or Venomancer would have to Chain Burst, and that's not really how their team fights together. That's not really how their lineup works. So it's kind of a bit of a back foot position here, because Liquid did lose that high ground push.
Yep. And they have to find a way around it. This will probably be a pretty damn good way. They got a Blink Dagger on GH, a Blink Dagger on Mind Control, and Kuro currently holding the smoke ready for a fight, but they don't want to have a big one just yet. Roshan may respawn in 1 second time. So we'll see just how quick it is. The Plague Ward will be in there for another 30 seconds, and Roshan will respawn in 2 minutes. So Liquid will have to wait to get the big man to have that Aegis and Cheese available for the next fights. But that's because if they can take it, VP are most definitely a formidable force, and they can contest it quite strongly.
So they're finally grouping up themselves. Creep waves are in perfect positions. They've been pushing out bot lane with Terrorblade illusions, and it's finally their turn, other than the whole defending and taking the tier 2 top, to finally push and take a 5v5 against Liquid. And this is maybe another place where they could have a lot of benefit. If Miracle shows up when this fight's about to start, has a good initiation, this could be decent for Liquid since they want a 5v5 as well. But I think VP's confident with these BKBs. They've got a Halberd on Underlord as well.
And they got the Blink Barra Strike initiation out. It went on the Venomman to silence up pretty quickly. But then again, that Tide Ravage, 3 heroes caught. They're going on a no one. It's BKB, you also have to protect it for the moment. Nova comes out, but so does the Rock. Space is created as Liquid fight underneath their own tower. And Virtus Pro Ramsey's just man-modes it up. Miracle is surviving through all of this. Where is the damage? Miracle, he takes one. He's going after Pasha. He's looking for a third. No one's the big one. GH holding him in position with the rock kick as the toggle begins for Miracle. Even a double damage rune spawning in the top river. VP make a right choice to get the hell out of there. However, Roger left behind as a rolling boulder. Okay, they won't even reach him to connect. The Urn Charge is taking him down. Roger starts the TP. Base damage. It's there from the Golem. Kuro will find the kill. Venomancer was the sacrifice. And Team Liquid, Roshan is up in 27 seconds, but they're going down mid. No exorcism will be available for no one.
It was such a good initiation by VP, and they got the Veno kill, but the follow-up was that the BKBs were used, and they got Miracle kind of low. Oh, not good.
Solo out too far. The kick will connect. You need a little bit more regeneration. The silence is there. Rolling boulder forward. GH pulling himself back. As Miracle, not really that low on life right now. He needs to drop a little bit lower so he can attack faster. That bottom tier 3 tower is still licking its wounds, but they're sticking with the creep wave in mid. They don't want to bounce out. Ramses looks for the fight. Already turns on the reflection. Miracle hitting himself pretty hard. Has the BKB available. Pushed away. GH trying to help him out with that kick. Miracle now BKB turns around. Goes after Solo. He will stand his ground with the damage into Ramses. Ramses. Miracle! He thumbs over on mind control. Gets him back alive. Pasha wants to end this, and he'll do so. Everybody home. They got the kill they want. They ended Miracle. That's Sunder onto mind control. He offered himself to keep Ramses in the fight.
Man, it is so fun to watch two heroes like Terrorblade essentially fight each other to the death. So tense. They both practically have I can't die abilities, and ultimately they finally kill the Huskar. It took a lot of right clicks, and the big problem for Ramses right now is he's just missing all the time. He does not have MKB. He cannot buy MKB right now. He's got Manta finally, so he can remove things like some of the mischance or disables or slows, but he just can't hit the Huskar right now, especially when BKB's used.
Roshan is alive. This will be a pivot point for the map for a while, as there's no way Virtus Pro want to give a second life to that Huskar, considering how many issues they're having to just bring him down at the moment. Small advantages, the BKB charges are wearing out quickly.
No kidding. It's gonna be a little harder for Huskar as the game goes on, but he's picked up his Hyperstone now. The lifesteal perk at 15 is a lot of work for him.
The Observed Ward from VP watches this happen very, very openly. Kuro has Rock coming back off cooldown as Roger, Epicenter. His timing couldn't be better right now. Epicenter looking to jump in. The Burrow Strike. No, he didn't get inside the pit. He was on the edge of the wall. No one will enter in. Miracle the agency ball. The Rock is huge. The Ravage is better. But the BKBs protect Virtus Pro. They stand their ground and fight. Pasha, he'll kick his life for this one, but Rams to no one. They are just way too big. The Viper coming in from GH. Kuro is on the run. Where is your big man? Huskar back to the world of the living now. The Aegis Immortal is popped, but how much fire's he got left in him? Solo protecting himself. He can't find the damage until Miracle jumps over. They almost kill off Ramses. They do kill off Ramses. The burning spears do the work, but no one. He stands through the entire thing. The immortal hero for Virtus Pro. Thanks to the help of the Oracle, Team Liquid are wiped.
Not a good position for Liquid considering how close that fight was. They burned Aegis. I believe they burned Cheese as well, and they still couldn't outfight VP. Here's the replay.
So Roger, with this burrow strike, he just comes up a little bit short, but the pit...
A little bit of a misclick. He tried to get inside, but didn't click far enough. And then VP pops BKBs. They use the Metamorphosis. They use Exorcism. And they drop the Fatal Bonds and stuff. But VP just can't be affected by these disables on Liquid side until those BKBs end.
Yep. It's just this. That was the ineffective Ravage from Mind Control. And you can't blame him for it. You knew it was going to happen once we saw these BKBs arrive. So Virtus Pro, at the end of that fight, they've still been holding the advantage as far as gold and experience goes. Gold's bounced up a little bit, but the experience tells the story of the momentum of this game, moving the way of Virtus Pro.
Yeah, it's been just such a hard-hitting game, though. Everyone jumps in, they brawl to the death, and it lasts like 20 seconds of heroes fighting other heroes with lifesteal. Definitely a lot more interesting than Pix and Rax's.
I'm wondering if this is going to be one of these games where Matumberman changes up his build. Normally he's gone for the 2 Plague Wards on Gale, but having the +7 seconds for Poison Nova and the 800 AoE building into Aghanim Scepter, this could coat and hurt.
I actually really agree with you here, because 7 more seconds means 7 more seconds that they have to last past BKB is used. So if he does go Ags and he's got it queued up, this thing's going to last for 23 whole seconds in a team fight, maybe more with Ags. I think it goes, no, it doesn't go up duration anymore. Tons of damage, and then if he just drops that on all of the enemy heroes, eventually they're going to have to deal with that damage output. Because right now he's not having a good game, and they bought BKB so fast, and they lost that top push. He lost all the gold advantage from his early game, so that's what he's going to need to get back in the game.
Roger's preparing to fight up on top, while on bottom lane, Dire is scanning in the trees, expecting some level of defense to be mounted. But as the scan comes up with nothing and Pasha takes the tower, VP should be aware that things are brewing. The ultimate's not fully up, Rock is still on cooldown for 10 more seconds, as this time Liquid are getting into a position to have that aggressive ward, so they see no one. Pasha and Ramses all running in. Mind Control, this is his moment to get that Ravage up for the BKBs. No one got his off in time, and the Rock with the Fatal Bond. Ramses low, but he thunders GH, it's all the life back once more with the Exorcism damage. Liquid cannot withstand this much power. They're on the run back out again. But this is 3 heroes from Liquid God. They had the vision, they knew what they were getting into, but Virtus Pro come out victorious.
It's just way too hard for Huskar to fight through all these enemy heroes. I mean, they always get the initiation as well. It's always Huskar starts the team fight stunned. Ramsey's able to get close, pop Metamorphosis, Manta, Conjure Image. They've got to deal with those. And then they also have to deal with the BKB Death Prophet, who's popping Exorcism, who can use Spirit Siphon shortly after the BKB ends. It's like impossible to armlet toggle. And to make things worse there, they just dropped the Oracle ulti on Terribly, the first person that Miracle tried to pick off.
Oracle's life is actually so easy for that now. Like, he's always going to protect the Terrorblade because the Aeon Disc on no one means that he's always going to be safe too.
And he just sits way far back. The first thing Solo buys, Blink Dagger. Look at his safety here. And he got a cast range perk at 15. He can stand so far away from his allies. As long as he doesn't get spotted and initiated on, he's going to be able to save at least one person. And Huskar's just falling off the hill right now.
But this Pro are just pushing all the lanes in too. So Team Liquid, I was wondering if VP would try and force the issue up to high ground. They don't have Metamorphosis, they don't have Exorcism, but Liquid also have none of their critical abilities. But they back up instead. Keep the farm going, increase the advantage.
It's hard now though. Like, farm is a much more difficult thing for them to attain. They just can't solo gank, they can't create pressure unless they commit a lot of big ultimates. And if you're in that kind of a situation, how are you supposed to create space for your team to feel like you don't have to sit as 5 heroes to farm? Because VP has that big advantage right now. Like the Sand King advantage, essentially.
I really don't know what the answer is for Team Liquid. Virtus Pro, however, they know what they have to do. Lane pressure, keep it up, and do not lose any of their big heroes who have been getting more and more combinations. Interesting save mechanism now for Kuro. He's managed to pick up that Lotus Orb. Makes it a lot more difficult for Terrorblade to just sunder any target he wants to. I'm interested to see what Liquid actually give him as options. Like, well, you could potentially sunder Mind Control when he jumps in. Or breaks free of the silence, is that what you're thinking?
It's really good against Sunder, but I think he's probably buying this because of the silence from Death Prophet. Because as these fights start on VP's terms, no one gets to approach, pops BKB, he drops a silence on a couple big heroes. And again, all the Warlock and the Earth Spirit and the Veno, they need to stand pretty close to the Huskar. And if you catch 2 or 3 heroes with a silence and it delays their reaction by 6 seconds, fight's over instantly. So between Lotus Orb and the potential Greaves on Tide that are coming up in a second, it's going to allow Liquid to much better time their team fight starts. But it's so hard as well because You want Huskar to be the one hitting buildings. Liquid wants to set a tempo by pushing with 5 while they hit towers. That's always going to give the initiation advantage on the defender, which is pretty much always going to be VP here.
Here comes Virtus Pro, the aggressor towards the tier 3 tower. The Assault Cuirass was just finished over a Miracle, so he'll have a little bit more survivability for all of his team under that heavy physical DPS of No One's Exorcism. But VP, they just bounce around the different lanes. No One, okay, Exorcism burn. He gets silenced up. Tubman just trying to cause some problems. The kick flies forward. Ramsey's also burning Metamorphosis. They want to have this fight. The two BKB heroes at the front lines. The saving grace is at the back. Solo and Roger. There's no way Liquid can really close the distance in on them. The kick flies through to connect on Solo. But it would cause too much trouble for Liquid to continue out that far. And the illusions of Terrorblade in the meantime are chipping away at the top tower, keeping them at bay. Miracle looks for a target. They're chasing out. The vision is there with the Observer and Sentry up on the hill, but the 3-man silence. They have to break free. The BKB is there. Ravage and Rock. It's pretty good, but not good enough. Mind Control just gets evaporated out. Rock is on the run. At least Miracle is able to stand next to Logator. Pushed around. The buyback comes in from the Titan, but there won't be one from the Huskar. The kick is awesome from G8, but Virtus Pro, so strong, so powerful. Moving forward once more, they get free of the upheaval thanks to the Your Sector on Kuro. So VP with their movement speed back, make their way towards the tier 3 tower on bottom. The kid controls up Matama, nothing more to give. No way to really continue this fight. He has a buyback available. The Virtus Pro continue their push through. Ramsey's a little bit greedy, takes flight from Pasha with the Sunder.
He's trading so much with Fatal Bonds as well as he takes damage, but they should be able to go high ground here. They've got no Exorcism, but they got 40 seconds until the big damage dealer Huskar comes back.
They force the buyback on Venomancer. Mind Control wants to look for a little bit more here. The Fatal Bonds is still over on Virtus Pro. That's a fresh one, but then they stand, they turn, they get the silence over, and the double fire strike from Roger. He is a beast on this hero. Gets the perfect hit on the Venomancer. That's a dieback from him. Mind Control isolated. At least got Anchor Smash to reduce some of the damage, but when Rams in the back line, killing off the rest of Liquid, this may be it. They've lost too many. They've lost everybody. Team Liquid pushing up the daisies as Virtus Pro plant their flag inside the Liquid base. This place belongs to them.
And Liquid feels like they can hold on here. I thought maybe they'd call a good game, but they popped the glyph. Buyback from GH, and now Huskar's alive, but the last couple engagements, he's going straight in. Is this
straight to the front lines? He's after Randy. GH has to help out. The piss down once more. They're fighting. Miracle is so low. He doesn't have enough life. No one gets it done. That's it. That's GG. Virtus Pro advance to the grand final of the Bucharest Major. Team Liquid once again forced into that small area at the end of a major. Third position, tied.
They're going to be disappointed for sure, but man, did VP play amazing here. The early laning stage was definitely Liquid's show. The last pick, Huskar, gave them the huge lane win that they wanted, but their ability to defend against that high ground push and not make a mistake and lose the game right there is so impressive. And once they had done that, they clawed back straightforward. It wasn't easy, but every fight afterwards was completely in control of VP. Absolutely deserved this win.
Yep. And the way they're standing on the stage, it looks like they're almost ready to pick up that trophy, but they're here to shake the hands of Team Liquid. Still a fantastic performance from them throughout the tournament. They really are champions, but once again, they find themselves not reaching that grand final. It'll be